Fried Berry, released to streaming in May 2021 from director Ryan Kruger. Where to begin with this one? Well, this is about an abusive drug addict he goes on quite the interesting trip. And yes, that pun is fully intended, that interesting trip. The trip involves drugs, sex, and aliens, and not the kind that are just not from South Africa, where this was produced, but the interstellar kind of aliens, actual abduction. So I'm going to try to avoid any spoiler territory here, but I guess the easiest way I can explain this film is that Barry gets fried, abducted by those aliens that were mentioned, experimented on, and is kind of, if I'm deciphering this correctly, as it's strange enough in general. I may have missed something, and I mean that in a good way. He's kind of controlled by an alien while he's in the back seat, so to speak, along for the ride as he, it, or they wander about the night, drifting in and out of some very interesting situations. The portion which swings from the sci-fi side of the spectrum to more toward the horror side mainly has to do not with situations that are necessarily scary, but ones that are really twisted and gross. But really twisted and gross, to the extent that it's actually still paced out well somehow. See, one of my issues that I have with some films, which I will likely mention in a lot of future reviews as well, is a film going overboard with one aspect to the detriment of another. For instance, like a comedy trying too hard and too frequently throughout the story to just be as funny as possible and nail every joke, and then you kind of slack on the actual plot. Or the performances within it. Same thing with an action film that's, just too loud and explosive, but there's not really much of a story going on. I see it in horror too. Either, the jump scares are just out of control, and after a while you get used to it, or there's a bunch of gore and you get used to that, and then the actual plot isn't that interesting. So you get a bit desensitized to what they're showing you, and when you're left with that plot that they've developed, you find out it's kind of boring. And I do have a particular movie in mind regarding this, but I'm not even going to mention it because I'd rather focus on ones that I do like, such as Fried Berry. Somehow the director and writer has balanced the absurd and like that gross, gory, bizarre situations that shock the viewer. He's balanced that with the story of Barry wandering around the city and getting in and out of these situations. Somehow he does it in a way where that balance simply works. So from scene to scene, I want to know what's going to happen next. What will he get himself into? How will he get himself out of it? And, where is all of this strangeness leading? I never got to a point within it where I thought, okay, let's keep going. What's the point? How is this thing going to wrap up? I always was ready for the next situation. And as the ending approached, I felt like I was entertained in an unexpected and very strange way. I'm not really sure what I would really even compare this to, but I'll simply say that it's very worth checking out. So I guess the only other thing I can really put in this is that, I think I've got enough details to kind of let you know, yes, it's strange, yes, it's weird, he's abducted, he's a drug addict, he's wandering in and out of stuff, it's like an alien's kind of controlling his body, as we've seen in so many other films. But I do want to mention that I watched this on Shudder as part of the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs, which may have made some of the difference in how much I enjoyed this film. So for those who are unfamiliar with Joe Bob Briggs, he's a film critic and film host who's been around for quite a while, and in recent years has come on over to the streaming network Shudder to host The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. He introduces the film, cuts in a few times throughout, and closes it out. He presents, interesting tidbits about the film, the filmmakers, etc. But he does this in a really funny way, along with his co-host Darcy the Mail Girl. I'm actually even wearing one of their shirts right now that I got at a convention a few years back. Their commentary and banter really brings a lot of humor to the table, and helps you kind of engage with the film more. So for one like Fried Berry, since it's such a really just fucking weird movie, those little breaks within the feature to have a little bit of that Joe Bob content helps to mix things up a bit. It gives you a break from that absurdity, lets it settle in a bit before he just sends you back to the show, and then you're launched back into where you left off. Now, you may really enjoy Fried Berry without Joe Bob, but since it's on Shudder and Joe Bob is on Shudder, may as well make it a night. I have no partnership or sponsorship with Shudder. I mean, how would I, being that at the time of this recording I have a whole 17 subscribers. But it's on my recommended list for streaming services. From Shudder.com, they usually have a free week trial, and if you Google or use that Honey app, you might find another coupon as well. I believe I got mine last Halloween for some some 1-year subscription for like $40 to $45 for the entire year, so it was very cheap. So Shudder is worth it. You know, it'll give you access to check out Fried Berry. And I'll rate Fried Berry probably maybe 7.5 out of 10. Like how I try to mix up my rating systems there. Maybe I'll do letters or stars next time, or carrots or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. I hope you give Fried Berry a chance, and Shudder a chance, and of course Joe Bob and Darcy a chance on the last drive. And really sets you up for an interesting piece of content to consume. So hope you like this video. Be sure to subscribe, like, hit that bell notification, and you'll see when I put something up. And I'll catch you in the next video.